I recently came across a really interesting chart where they analyzed over 15,000 top 100 pop songs on the Billboard chart for the last 60 years to prove how pop music has been getting more repetitive. And what we see is that melody complexity, measured by number of different notes used, and the movement of the notes on a song, has fallen by around 30% over the last 60 years or so. Which is not surprising since, as mentioned in some of my other videos, the most popular melody now in pop music is this one note melody that goes like... So I decided to do some digging, and I realized that a huge reason pop music is so repetitive today is that most of these big artists didn't write their songs by themselves. And looking at song credits of top songs, it's hard to find a song without a bunch of songwriters' names on there. And after looking through a few more songs, I started seeing some repeated songwriter names on there too. What I realized is that there are these relatively unknown and not famous songwriters hired by record companies to help write top artist songs. For example, the famous music YouTuber Rick Beato on his video recently pointed out this songwriter called Amy Allen, who co-wrote a lot of recent top hits like Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter or APT by Bruno Mars and Rosé of the K-pop girl group Blackpink. And this makes pop music repetitive since these songwriters tend to have a particular sound. Let me show you in more detail how the songwriting process plays out in industry with these industry songwriters from my research. So it might seem like I'm exposing these artists, but I personally don't see anything wrong with utilizing another person's genius and bouncing ideas off of them. So the most common way a hit song gets written today is an artist would sort of start with an idea like on the song APT. Rosé from Blackpink talked about how one time she was in the studio and she was telling people about this Korean drinking game called APT, and everyone started chanting APT, APT. So that inspired her to write this song. At this stage, there might be some lyrics written or chords or a full-on demo, but then they take it to industry trusted songwriters to flesh out the song. A lot of times these songwriters will also be producers, since producers make sure the song goes from a demo tape to a high fidelity sounding file. So it's naturally fitting that they suggest ways to change up the song too. A good example of this process playing out would be the song Cardigan by Taylor Swift. Here's what her demo tape sounded like versus the actual song.
I knew you dancing in your Levi's, drunk under a... I knew you dancing in your Levi's, drunk under a...
It sounds way more complete with the full production, all the instruments coming in, and the high fidelity recordings. If we listen closely too, the lyrics also changed. So in the demo, there's a part that goes like, Peter leaving Wendy, and it became Peter losing Wendy in the final version. Part of the job of the songwriter producer too is to make sure that the song is easy to sell and marketable. So they would often make suggestions that they think have more mainstream appeal. So it's oftentimes a compromise between the artist and songwriter/producer on what to change. The singer-songwriter guitar player John Mayer illustrated this struggle really well back in 2008 when he did his songwriting clinic at the Berklee College of Music.
When somebody says you got to cut a verse out of Stop This Train, then I go, I can't do that. That I can't do. So compromise is huge, and you learn how to compromise that which you can give away and defend that which you can't.
Part of the benefit and downside of working with industry trusted songwriters is that they usually have a sound. For example, listening through a few of Amy Allen's songs, we sort of hear a similarity. A very consistent summer nostalgic vibe across these songs. Now, artists like Taylor Swift and John Mayer are known to take a more active part in their songwriting process with really well fleshed out demo tapes. But on the other end of the spectrum, we got K-pop artists who are known to have entire songs written and produced for them and without any input. So they would just go into the studio and record their parts as instructed. A popular example is the K-pop girl group Blackpink. Watching the Netflix documentary a couple years ago, it was quite eye-opening for me to see how well designed the whole system is. Each K-pop group usually comes with a director who comes up with the overall concept for the group, including the music, costumes, dance choreography, and whatnot. So underneath them, they've hired a songwriting team, dance choreography team, makeup artists, fashion experts, to name a few. So the songwriting team would take high-level instructions from the director, which in the case of Blackpink could be like a dancey, dark song taking inspiration from club beats and no longer than 3 to 4 minutes. The team would then get to work on a song and build out a track like... And once the track is 80% there, they call in the members for them to record their parts, and they also instruct them on the spot on how best to sing each part.
For love, I'm ready for love.
And combining all of that, we end up with a song finally like... Another way K-pop companies will write songs is to organize songwriting camps featuring songwriters and artists from different genres, so the songs will come out unique and interesting. The popular K-pop company, SM Entertainment, with groups like Super Junior, Girls' Generation, SHINee, and EXO, is known to host intensive week-long summer writing camps with their managers guiding the whole process. Now, there's still top artists today who fully write their own songs. A great example is Billie Eilish, who's known to write songs with her brother Phineas, who also produces the songs. So if you look into their song credits on Spotify, you only see both of the names on there. Pretty impressive. So taking a hit song like Birds of a Feather as an example, they would, again, usually start with an idea like...
There's a lot of songs about dying for somebody and loving them till they die, and I thought it was really fun to lean
like reverse
in and
it.
be like,
No, literally though.
Then in this case, Billie Eilish started jotting down lyric ideas for the song. Eventually, they sort of had a structure together, started laying down some chords and melodies, and continue refining details like phrasing of the saying, how they're going to sing the song, before finally Phineas doing his magic of producing the song and making high fidelity for release.
Birds of a feather, we should stick together and
Such an organic collaboration process. To me, that's what makes their songs unique. They don't rely on a particular known industry songwriter sound. Besides them, bands are also often known to write their own songs, even mainstream bands like Coldplay. So going to the credits of their hit song Yellow, we see that as just the names of their band members, even in the producer section. Pretty cool. Usually for Coldplay, Chris Martin, the lead singer, will be the one to come up with the initial idea and outline for the song. So in the case of Yellow, he was messing around with some cool guitar tunings. So a regular guitar would sound like... But he tuned it so it sounds more like... And he started playing around with different chord shapes and humming lyrics over it like...
Then that chord, I started doing that. And I started thinking about Neil Young, and I was like, stars.
And he then showed the idea to his bandmates, who would then add in all their instruments, bass, drums, supporting guitar, which in the end turned to a song like...
Look at the stars, look how they shine.
Another popular band, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who's also known to write their own songs, follows a slightly different process, usually where they'll kind of just jam out a song. So someone would start playing a random riff, and the other band members would start following on bass, drums, vocals, like... And working with the producer, they polish up the song more for release, like... The main takeaway for me from all this is that depending on the sound the artist is going for, it really helps to work with a known songwriter or producer who have that sound. For example, if they want a more nostalgic summer sound, maybe they'll go to Amy Allen, who's done APT and Espresso. But if they want a truly unique sound, it really helps to write their own songs with at most the help of their fellow bandmates or songwriting partner who's not a known industry person, like Billie Eilish writing songs with her brother Phineas. If you're interested in learning about other recent trends in pop music, check out this video where I go over why new songs today all sound so nostalgic. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.